Writing Gym podcast. In today's episode, Annalisa talks to Ying Han Cheng. She is a lifestyle innovation expert, coach, speaker, author, and entrepreneur. She's also the founder of Freedom Success Formula, which is an international group coaching program supporting ambitious, conscious change makers to pinpoint their passion, turn it into action, and in many cases, fund their six-figure, you only live once lifestyles. They're talking today about Annalisa's amazing book, Storytelling for Pantsers, and how to finish your own entrepreneur book this year. Make sure and go to www.datewiththemuse.com/bookacall to talk to Annalisa about your own book and how you can become a published author this year.
Here today with you, I have a super special guest, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Annalisa Parent. Annalisa Parent helps writers to find the confidence and expertise to bring their books from idea to publishable. Her new book, who just released, Storytelling for the Pantsers, How to Outline and Revise Your Novel Without an Outline, helps non-outlining fiction writers work through the writing and revise the process with ease. Oh, wow. So they don't even have outlines, non-outlining fiction writers. And Annalisa is also the senior editor of Laurel Elite Books, seasoned writing coach, and she is the 2015 Teacher of the Year nominee for her neuroscientific principles. She writes in many local, national, international publications and produced sketches for award-winning television shows. She's been featured on so many different things, and I'm so excited to bring her here, including Huffington Post, CBS, Associated Press, Korean broadcast systems, and just so many other programs and radio stations and conferences as well. The Unicorn Writers Conference is one of the conferences that she's representing at upcoming, and she believes in taking writing craft super seriously without taking herself seriously or too seriously, and attempts to heed the wisdom of the ancient Roman poet Horace. Mix a little foolishness with your prudence. It's good to be silly at the right moment. And I just want to take this moment and really welcome Annalisa Parent to share her wisdom on how to get the book in your body or in your mind out into the world, publish it. So super honored to have you here, girl. We are personal friends. We met each other in Africa while traveling across the continent in Botswana and Zimbabwe. So this girl also has a huge streak of adventure in her, and this business has been an incredible journey, and it's been so cool. I just want her to share this with you. Welcome.
Thank you, Ying, for having me. I'm so thrilled to be speaking with you, right? From safari to this. Amazing.
Yeah. So tell us, what are some of the things that you feel, are some of the things that people don't really know about this whole writing process that could really benefit and help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the most important things when entrepreneurs write their expert book, and something that we talk about in our program a whole lot, is clarity, right? So, and clarity is a funny thing because sometimes we think that we can be communicating something very, very well, and then it turns out that we didn't communicate that quite as clearly as we had wanted. And so that's something that we really help our entrepreneurs to focus in on, is to be as clear and precise and concise as possible. So I really strongly encourage those entrepreneurs out there who are looking to finally write their expert book and really scale their business to really have that clarity piece in mind, because it's so, so, so important to conveying a message.
Awesome. Thanks. So clarity is super important, but I'm also wondering, like, can you share a little bit more about the benefits of having a book as an entrepreneur or having a book in general? And what kind of clarity does that come with? Is it clarity about how that works in the business? Or is it clarity about like the topic that that is going to support the entrepreneur's business? Or how does that work together?
Yeah, and you know this firsthand, Ying. I mean, I know that your book became an Amazon international bestseller. And so you've seen how a book can really accelerate your business into a whole new realm. We call our program Be the Expert Who Wrote the Book on It. And the reason for that is because you are suddenly seen as the expert who wrote the book on it. And it's one thing to say, I'm an expert on, zebra singing, but it's another thing to have written the informative book on zebra singing, to have won awards as you have, to have really placed that book really well so that it's in the right hands of the right people, so that you've got high quality influencers endorsing your book and really passing it on to the people who need to read it. All of those things keep your phone just ringing off the hook. I mean, you have to hire people to start taking care of your email once you're the expert who wrote the book on it. And it's not just about writing that really great book. As you know, Ying, there's this whole process of marketing and making sure that it's in the places that it needs to be in. And that's what our program does. It's a comprehensive program that not only offers the service of helping entrepreneurs to write a book, because we recognize that not all entrepreneurs are writers as we are, yeah. But also to market and sell that book, to get that book where it needs to be so that it does the job for entrepreneurs that an expert book should do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And for expert books, right, is this mostly nonfiction? And or what is an expert book?
Yeah, so an expert book is a book that showcases your expertise. And so, by nature, they are nonfiction because you're talking about your real life, your area of expertise. Now, there are many different formats because one of the things that we encourage, and this is a really good tip for your audience, is that your book needs to be authentic. So it needs to be authentic to who you are, what you offer, what your company is. And so, my expert book and your expert book are going to look a little different because you and I are doing different things, right? That makes a lot of sense. So, this expert book, the intention is that it's highlighting you as an expert. Oftentimes, entrepreneurs will write more than one expert book. They'll write several, but you've got to start somewhere. Book one is always a lot of fun, tends to be pretty general in an area of expertise. And then when we're writing with entrepreneurs for the second or seventh or 15th time, we're really niching down into something that they've gotten really specific about in their business that they want to share with their audience.
Nice, nice. So are you finding that you're meeting a lot of people who have already written books before? And if like someone were to come and they have an idea of writing a book, but they really haven't really thought it through in terms of how to even get started, like should they be investing in it, time, money, it's a really scary process for someone who's just started. And I see 4 people viewing here. So if you guys have any specific questions for Annalisa, pop them in the chat. Like she's here to answer those questions too. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just describe the process, because I remember when I first started writing it, I knew that I had a program that I wanted to share the message to a larger audience. And I knew in order for me to have a bigger impact and to reach more people that I wanted to work with, I needed to have a platform that it didn't take my lifetime. So the book essentially became a vehicle of communication to share the work with people that I don't even know and I didn't personally share the message with. And so it was incredibly useful in that sense. And also I had this feeling that I was 9 months pregnant with this book and it needed to come out. So for me, it was a very physical feeling that I needed to get out. But what do you experience? What's that tipping point that you've been seeing with all of your clients on when they had the idea and then when they actually took action? And what's some of the most inspiring stories that you've kind of come across?
Yeah, so let me unpack that a little bit. We have entrepreneurs who come to us and they've never written more than a blog post. And we have had New York Times bestselling authors work with us. So writers at all levels come and get what they need to work through writing an expert book. And oddly, you would think that experienced writer is going to have a very different experience in our program than that beginning writer. But every book is a unique experience, as I imagine for moms out there, that every literal birthing of a baby is a new experience every time, even if you've done it before. I think a book is very similar. In that way, there's still the work to be done and the thoughts and the organization that take place. So, we have designed a program that really helps people at all levels because, this is unique. Writing an expert book is its own genre. It doesn't follow the conventions of an autobiography or, a straight informational nonfiction book. It is its own thing. And so having somebody to help you with that is really, really helpful. And, you asked about inspiring stories. I'm thinking of someone who came to our Florida retreat. He hadn't even written as much as a blog post. He was just, he was really kind of a hands-on guy in his business. He was that person who really liked to get in the trenches and do the work, but writing wasn't really his thing. And to watch him blossom and grow over the 5 days that we had together, and for those light bulbs to go off and for him to start to make connections. And in one of our one-on-one sessions, he just turned to me and said, "Wow, I think I'm a writer." And I said, "Yeah, you are. You're doing it. Like, this is you. You're putting it together. I mean, I'm helping you and I'm guiding you and I'm helping you to organize it. These are your ideas. These are your thoughts. These are your sentences." So, seeing that kind of growth in someone who doesn't know that they can be a writer is really powerful.
Yeah. So if oops, there's echoing. Let me see. Do you guys still hear the echo? Nope. Okay, cool. I was going to be like, yeah, so if you're out there and you're having some kind of fear, or you don't think that you can finish it, or if it seems like too big of an endeavor, pop your question down there. Like, what is your biggest thing that's hindering you? And let's take a look at that, because writing a book is a big deal. It is putting yourself out there, and there's a lot of emotional inhibitions that come with it in order to get your word out there. Like, there's a lot of internal transformations that you also might be feeling. Like, I remember when I started writing it, I didn't even want to announce to the world that I was doing it. I wanted to do it in secret and just pop out a book like randomly. And I knew that having that public accountability, that visibility piece to even like be out there was terrifying. And for me, like, writing a book is so much about personal growth as well. After publishing it, the way you hold yourself as a bestseller, the way you hold yourself as a author is very different than prior to that, right? It's like another accomplishment that you can really fully embrace. So that's one of the things that I found that benefit, like emotional benefit of like being that. And then of course, like in your business, you like right now I'm doing 10 talks till the end of the year. And had I not had the book, like it would be a different proposal to the different places. And people are approaching me rather than me approaching them, like Annalisa mentioned. Because they're able to kind of flip through your book and see if your material is resonating with their audience. And that gives them a lot more data to work with. And also for them to pass the book along to their friends and their colleagues as well. So I think like in terms of a publicity tool, it's something that is still quite personal. As opposed to like a CV where you're passing it that along. Like a book is much more personal, and it actually engages the reader or the person who has it in their hands a lot more. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. And then also one more thing is that I thought of as you were talking about the retreat. By the way, guys, Annalisa's retreat is happening next year. And I believe like this retreat is something that can support you not only getting started, but also helping you go through the process of getting published and marketing that book. And it's happening in Australia. And so how long, so it's about a 2 week or a 1.5 week thing?
It's a 5-day retreat, and we worked together for 8 weeks prior to the retreat, putting together the skeleton and the fundamentals of your book. So you get both all of that book writing coaching that happens, plus all of the marketing coaching leading up to the retreat.
Yeah, so I'm just going to throw this up in the section.
Yeah, so while you're doing that, I'll just mention that we, as you mentioned, will be in Australia. We're going to be outside of Melbourne in the Dandenong Mountains, which are the wine country of Australia. So if you've ever sampled an Australian wine, likely it came from that part of Australia. Really gorgeous location. We've got a gorgeous resort. We are eating amazing food. We've got a chef coming in, and I'm really excited. Part of what we do, Ying, is about, really taking care of yourself as a writer, as an entrepreneur, to take that time to be creative and to really put that book out there. The other things that we'll be doing at the retreat, we do your promo videos. So we've got a video coach. We're walking through all of those, making those videos. We're helping you to make all of your lead magnets that are related to the book. We make your website for you. You have a professional photo shoot with your book, which you'll have on hand at the retreat, which is amazing. And we're putting together all of the final touches on what your layout is, what your back cover is going to look like, all of that. So it's a really exciting opportunity to come together in a beautiful location, eat amazing food, and do amazing work together.
And so tell us a little also more about like the 8 weeks leading up to it. So that's the kind of the culmination of the whole process, or how does that work?
In some ways, yes. I mean, the retreat is the opportunity for us to get together and take care of some things that we can only do in person. The 8 weeks leading up to it, we're meeting much like you and I are doing. So we're going to have participants from all over the world. I'm in the United States. Many of the participants are in New Zealand and Australia, more on that side of the world. It's open to anyone from anywhere. And so we log in and, you're getting instruction and support. You've got a personal writing coach who's going to give you feedback on your manuscript. You've got a personal marketing coach who's going to help you to put together your individualized marketing plan and what makes sense for each entrepreneur. We're all in different industries. We've all got different preferences as people. Some people really want to augment their speaking for the year, for example. Others might want to focus on how can I turn this into written content? How can I get on the radio? Whatever it is that's really important to them and where they want to go, we have our marketing director come in and really help you walk through that so that you have a customized marketing plan for your book, and you can pre-sell your books before they're even in print.
Got it. Yeah, gosh, pre-selling is a very interesting one. So I can't wait for people to find out more with you when they join the program, or at least when they inquire about it and see how it can work for them. And so one of the things that I also came up when I was listening to this, as you were sharing, is marketing in Asia. So marketing in Asia does work differently than the West. And I'm just wondering, like, how the support system works for people who are living in Asia when a lot of the relationships, or rather a lot of the channels, are based on relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, we're customizing that marketing plan for each individual entrepreneur. And so, even within pockets of the United States, things work a little bit differently. And so we're taking the entrepreneur's goals into consideration. We're taking the content that they're marketing into consideration. And we're taking what resources they have into consideration, because there's not just a cultural question. There's also a scaling question, right? Not everybody wants to be the next Tony Robbins. Maybe some people are sort of comfortable in a smaller area. And so that goal is really important, whether it's a cultural one, whether it's a size one. That customized product is really unique to what we do. So we're not just kind of saying, okay, here are the 10 things that you're going to do and your book's going to magically sell. That doesn't sell books. We need to take all of the elements that the entrepreneur is, who they are, where they live, what they're marketing, what they want. All of these things are the components that we're drawing in. And that's a really important piece of what we do. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because all of those kinds of considerations are extremely important when you create a marketing plan. The way that I marketed my book, Ying, I bet is a lot different from what you did. Yours worked for you, mine worked for me. We need those customized marketing plans.
Absolutely. Awesome. And then another question that I have, I think my audience will be asking a lot. And I'm just wondering, some people love, they have this vision of their books being in bookstores, the equivalent of Barnes and Nobles in maybe Hong Kong, Bookazine, or in Singapore, Kinokuniya. And I'm just wondering, how would you get your book into a bookstore if their buyers decide that it's not something that they want to carry?
Yeah, so we are a hybrid publishing house. So we are the combination of what you've seen out there for self-publishing and a traditional publishing house. So what that means for our authors is that they have full control over the content, right? They're in consultation on the cover, on the interior layout, on the content, all of that. The part where this is relevant to your question about bookstores is that even though the author gets all of the control of self-publishing, they've got all of the marketing advantage of a traditional publishing house. So we, as an established publishing house, market our books the same way that any of the big five here in the U.S. Market their books. That means that our books are available in the same way that, whatever's at the top of the New York bestseller list this week is available to a bookstore. So, many entrepreneurs choose to self-publish, and then they run into that wall over and over and over again, because bookstores say, yeah, no thanks, we don't do self-published books, or yeah, no thanks, we can't get that through our distributor. That isn't an issue with a traditional publishing house, because our books, as I said, are available in the same way that every other traditionally published book is available.
So are you kind of how do we say, is it the marketing packet that is the main difference because I'm thinking of there's a huge advantage to use your publishing house versus self-publishing if people are considering those two things. And so I'm wondering, is it when you're approaching these bookstores, do you have a marketing packet, a PR packet, something like that, or what constitutes the marketing for New York Times bestseller versus self-publishing, and what's the difference in terms of work and how you guys can support that?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about a New York Times bestseller, they've got a huge publishing house behind them, highly likely. There's a lot of marketing and power that they have, the big five here in the U.S. that we don't. We are a smaller publishing house. We are not one of the big five, full disclosure. But what we do have all of the same advantages that they have. We market in all of the same ways. We're not publishing Stephen King, so we don't have the same doors open that those big houses would. But we are using all of the same mechanisms, right? All of the same distribution that all of the publishing houses use, we use those distribution channels. Now, that might not be right for every single entrepreneur, right? Some entrepreneurs' books are going to be really good fits for traditional bookstores. Some might be better for university bookstores. Some might be better for city libraries. Others might not want to be there, right? So again, we're back at that marketing plan, which is really essential. But if the author decides that, traditional bookstores are really an important component to what they do, then certainly we've got the mechanisms in place to make that happen. Now, we are working, as all traditional publishing houses do, in conjunction with the author. So yes, we are doing a lot of the work, and the author's doing a lot of the work too. And that's just the reality of modern publishing. You have to be at the level of Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, Tony Robbins probably, to get the kind of publicity that we all dream of, right? Where we have a publicist who's like, getting us on Oprah or whatever, the big talk shows. So all authors, even multiple New York Times bestsellers, have to do some of the work for their own publicity.
Guys, key question. We have so many that Annalisa is answering. So I know you guys are still on here. So if you have more questions, we have an expert here to answer that for you. So thanks for sharing that, Annalisa. I think that it's really important to realize the importance of a specific marketing plan, because of course you can distribute anywhere, like you can focus on distributing in many different places, but that's really spreading yourself too thin. You got to look at like where your ideal clients are, and if your book is to reach a certain audience, and where those people are going to read your books, right? And then once that happens, you might also run into a lot of roadblocks. For example, I was actually at a conference in Bangkok, and it was a self-publisher meetup, and there were more than 50 people, maybe 30 people in the room, and everyone had published their books. Some of them multiple. I think some people even wrote hundreds of books, and they're actually in the industry of self-publishing and just creating passive income from books. But then there's also expert books where people are just sharing their knowledge through a book. And then we have also people who are doing SEO, as in they're writing books based on the popular keywords, and creating an expert book through that. So integrating the marketing already. But one of the questions, kind of bringing it back to bookstores, and the reason I say that is because a lot of people here, they like the idea of walking into a bookstore and seeing their books on the shelves. They can be like, hey guys, it's on the shelves. And so I'm just wondering, when you get rejected, let's say in a traditional bookstore, does that do you go for another avenue in another distribution channel, or are there ways that you can kind of overcome that, or find out what is actually required for you to be in a traditional bookstore? Have you ever experienced that, or what's your advice for people who have self-published and they want to get into bookstores and they've been rejected? Because I do hear that quite often as well.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of advice for self-publishing authors, just because that's not something that I do. I would say, the reason why I do what I do the way I do it is so that our authors don't have that frustration, because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs experience that, and it's super frustrating because you've done all of the work, you've got the book, and you can't get it where you want it to go. Or, if you want a self-published book in bookstores, it's phone call after phone call, and just a lot of hassle. And so that's why we do what we do the way that we do it, so that, bookstores still close their door on us, as they do with any book. They know their audiences, and they're going to say no to certain books that they're not going to carry because they know they won't sell. And that's fine, but we do get a lot of open doors. We've got a lot of relationships. And so that really helps us to get our books into the bookstores. So, I think for self-published authors, for better or for worse, all you can really do is kind of hit the pavement, knock on doors, make the phone calls, create the relationships, and really work on getting your book into the store. In the same way that you do anything else in your entrepreneurial life, making sure.
Yeah, that sounds like the best way forward to build those relationships, or have a publishing house publish your book after over there. Yeah, it sounds like that could also be be a thing. I definitely have heard people do that, like after they self-publish the first edition, then also communicate with a publishing house that are aligned in their values to take in the next version.
Right.
So, any questions, guys, on the retreat specifically that's coming up in March? We have some time to take some questions that, are you guys like thinking of writing books? You guys who are watching right now, like, yeah, thumbs up. Are you guys like thinking of writing a book? Is book something that's exciting for you? Show me some thumbs up. Yeah, I know. It's like, come on, guys. And let's see. I know it's like pretty scary if you haven't thought of that before, or you haven't really publicly announced that. So that's kind of cool. And then if you are already in the process of writing a book, show a heart. Let's see. And if you're just like, nah, that's not for me, you can do that like sad tear face.
Yeah.
All right. Any other like things that you want to share, Annalisa? Wisdom, drops of wisdom. You shared so much generously with us, and I'm sure the audience super appreciates like just the different parts of that journey, and also maybe relieved that there's someone who knows the whole process. Myself included, I know like the process of like what it takes to do self-publishing, but I think like Annalisa really is able to support you guys in just having that whole plan specifically for you, and then a whole team of people who are also doing that. I think like the retreat format is really fun just because you have support, right? Support and community. Yeah.
Well, I do want to mention that we are open for applications. So we have limited slots. So we do very small, intimate retreats, 10 people only. So we've still got a few slots left for this 2018 retreat. And I think you have the link over there, Ying, for people to apply. So the process of application is that you are going to book a call. We're going to have a conversation, and we'll talk about your book and what you want to write. Make sure it's a good fit and move forward from there. So, you can start the program as soon as January 1st, 2018, and get started on writing your book, and you'll have a book in hand in the second quarter of 2018. So it's really, really exciting. We promote high quality books. That's really our bent. There are other programs out there in the world that focus on, getting it done in a day or 2 days or something. That's not us. We want you to have a quality, clear message to share and resonate with your audience so that your phone rings off the hook. That's what we want for our clients. That's our real goal. So as I said, we've still got some slots open, and we'd love to chat with the people in your audience, Ying. I know you've got some great, great people that you talk to, and we'd love to help them get their expert book out into the world.
Yeah, guys, I'm so excited for you guys. So this quarter, if this is your quarter, and you know that, by quarter to 2018, you would like a book in hand, you know who to talk to. The link is right down here, datewiththemuse.com/apply. And for you guys only, because you guys are here and you're being awesome, going for what you want, your YOLO book, your own version of that, you do get a $3,000 Australian dollar off if you decide to sign up. So yeah, book in that call in the next week to enjoy this. And then it's really no risk. Just Annalisa will talk to you and you'll see if that's something that is going to happen for you. So thanks guys so much. You can totally write more comments in there, tag Annalisa. She will respond to as many as she can. If you have any book questions, or just directly sign up on the link to know more. I really hope to see more people just like owning their expertise. Like you have so much in you, so much wisdom to share, and to share that with the world, either through social media and then even more condensed version or more like elaborate version of a book. So we'll hope to see more authors. All right. See you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. See you guys so soon. See you guys so much is what I said earlier. But then, yeah, thank you so much, Annalisa, for sharing all that you have shared today. And I hope that this gives people lots and lots of inspiration and courage to move forward.
Yes, let's do it.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.